If a direct, full-scale war breaks out between the United States and Iran today, the American military machine will ultimately lose. On paper, this math does not add up. The United States possesses the most heavily funded military-industrial complex on the planet, equipped with the most advanced fighter jets and the largest navy in the world. Iran, meanwhile, has endured 45 years of crushing economic sanctions. Since 1979, their currency has lost its value 20,000 times over. In the late 70s, one US dollar cost 70 rials. Today, it costs over 1.4 million. By traditional metrics of war and economics, a nation under this much pressure should be a collapsed state begging for terms of surrender. Yet Iran is the one consistently escalating the conflict, showing no signs of backing down. Look at modern Tehran. Instead of an impoverished wasteland, you find a highly developed, brightly lit metropolis. The streets are clean, the infrastructure is heavily built up, and citizens commute daily on a complex, well-maintained public transit network. How did a nation economically suffocated and cut off from the global financial order survive long enough to aggressively confront a global superpower? Before 1979, Iran fulfilled 10% of the world's oil demand and operated as a booming new market for American companies. The Islamic Revolution severed those lucrative, Western-aligned economic ties. The breaking point occurred shortly after, when Iranian students occupied the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. They took 52 diplomats hostage for 444 days. The American retaliation was immediate and severe. President Jimmy Carter froze $12 billion in Iranian assets held in the U.S., which included 45,000 kilos of gold locked inside the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Even after the hostages were released, the bulk of that money was never returned. This absolute financial excommunication forced Iran to accept a harsh reality. They could never again rely on the global system for their survival. Barred from buying military equipment from global powers, Iran had to build an entire defense industry from scratch. They mastered asymmetric warfare, where a weaker power uses cheap tactics to exploit a stronger military. This data comparison of the Shahed 136 drone shows exactly how. They are extremely cheap to produce, but carry a highly destructive 50-kilogram explosive payload right in the nose. Out of necessity, Iran set up underground bunkers filled with thousands of these domestically produced weapons. They even reverse-engineered captured American technology to manufacture their own local jet engines and ballistic missiles. Iran's military strategy isn't designed to beat the United States fighter jet for fighter jet. Instead, their approach relies on blinding, expensive, sophisticated American radar installations with unstoppable swarms of low-cost, expendable technology. This reliance on homegrown solutions extended far beyond the military. In 2007, Iran officially adopted the concept of a resistance economy, a national strategy designed specifically to generate growth despite international embargoes. They prioritized domestic production over imports to secure their basic needs. In the healthcare sector, they directed enormous state effort toward manufacturing their own pharmaceuticals, achieving 99% self-sufficiency in medicine. To achieve this level of internal production, the state heavily funded scientific research and expanded access to higher education. Today, by attempting to starve the country of physical resources, Western policy forced Iran to build a self-contained domestic economy powered by homegrown intellect. This brings us back to why a direct conflict with America ends poorly for the U.S. In military theory, there is a strict difference between a tactical victory and a strategic victory. Tactically, the United States has the firepower to successfully bomb Iranian targets, destroy military infrastructure, and win individual skirmishes. But a strategic victory is the ultimate goal of any war. A strategic victory requires entirely breaking the political will of the enemy society so they can no longer keep fighting. You cannot easily break the psychological will of a society that has spent nearly half a century successfully absorbing and adapting to catastrophic external shocks. There is a historical observation that hard times create strong men. While many prosperous Western nations struggle with routine supply chain disruptions, Iran has normalized a state of constant, forced resilience. This ingrained endurance spans all facets of their culture. It allows a heavily restricted nation to outperform much wealthier, unsanctioned countries on the global stage, racking up 88 Olympic medals over their history. America deployed economic isolation as its ultimate weapon, intending to squeeze the nation into compliance or collapse. But after 45 years of applying maximum pressure, the United States didn't destroy its enemy. It accidentally acted as the anvil that forged a state uniquely immune to Western control.